In this video, I am going to go over a couple of things that a few people have been having problems with when it comes to building a panel fence or a fence that would be using some type of a 4x8 sheet of building material like exterior grade plywood. And hopefully if you are going to build a fence like this, you will use a exterior rated panel, whether it's going to be some type of man-made material or lumber that might be stained or painted later. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at how you would build something like this on level ground and maybe even a backyard that doesn't have much of a slope to it. And these aren't too difficult to build. You're simply going to use either a dado slot in the materials surrounding the panel, or you can nail some type of a trim. And here we're using a 1 inch by 1 inch piece of trim so that we can create a slot for our panel. And of course this will run around the perimeter of each section of the fence. And even though I'm not going to be going into all of the detail on how you would build something like this, I will cover the two biggest problems I think you're going to face if you do build this type of a fence, whether it's going to be on a low sloping grade or a steeper grade. Now the first thing I want to take a look at will be the fact that your fence is probably not going to be built on flat or level ground. However, if it is, then you're in luck, because you can build everything to where the fence posts are going to be vertically level or plumb, and all of the horizontal members will be level, and then you will be able to place the panels in without doing a lot of thinking into these slots that are going to be nice and square. So this is one way. We're going to have all of the fence posts nice and level or vertically plumb, and then everything else is going to be square. And since it is going to be nice and square, it's going to be easier to measure everything and cut everything to assemble everything. And even if we had a small grade like this here, but we could keep everything nice and straight, we could actually take the posts and create something like this to where the posts are not going to be vertically level. However, everything is still going to be nice and straight and square. But this probably isn't going to be the best choice either, because a lot of people don't want to look at fence posts that aren't vertically level. Which brings us to our next situation, to where the posts are going to be plumb and the panels will need to be measured and cut to fit accordingly. And of course this is one of the main examples I wanted to provide you with, along with showing you how you can cut the panels. So there are a variety of different ways to do this. We're going to take and assemble this section of the panel fence to where we can slide the panel over and then measure the bottom. So this distance right here will simply be transferred to the top of the panel, and then we can mark and cut the paneling at a small angle. And of course this will need to be done on both sides. And this method should work even on steeper grades. However, there is one thing that I need to point out and you need to be aware of before setting your posts, and that'll be the fact that the posts are going to need to be a little closer, and you won't really know what that distance is going to be until you cut your first panel. So I wouldn't suggest getting carried away with laying out your fence posts and digging all of your holes until you figure out what you're going to need here. And in some cases you might actually want to build one section of the fence at a time. And of course now would be a good time to point out the main reason why I made this video, and that would be the distance here at the bottom of the fence between the top of the soil and the bottom of the fence. And in this case here we're dealing with about 4 inches. And this measurement here would not be difficult to fill with a variety of different materials to close this gap, or at the very least reduce the size of the gap here. However, that's not going to be the case if you choose this method instead instead of the previous method to build your fence with panels? And this is actually a question that a few people have sent to me more than once. And I think it's safe to say that just recently someone contacted me, and I don't think they're going to be watching this video, and they were building a fence like this, and it kind of sounded like they were trying to blame their contractor for creating these large holes in between their property and their neighbor's property. And who knows, maybe it was the contractor's fault. However, this is not going to be a concern of mine or yours, because you now have the information that they didn't obviously have before you even consider building a fence like this one. Now, if you are someone who came to this video with the impression that I was going to walk you through the entire project and I didn't, but you really want to know how to build a fence like this, then feel free to leave a comment in the comment area letting us know, and I will be glad to put it on my list of videos to be made in the future.